been a
Hey,
while.
I know. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm hanging in there. So everyone who's joining, be sure to share this with your business girls, so they can come in here and gain this knowledge from these two powerful um, full-time entrepreneurs that we're about to talk with. So go ahead and share this with all of your friends. Hi, Minnie's 1967. So share this with everyone. Have your business girls come on in here so they can gain some of this knowledge from these two powerhouse entrepreneurs that we have here today. Thank you, and welcome to October Moon's Branding Weekly Live. This is called Biz Chats, and today's Biz Chats is with the owners of, what are y'all doing? The owners of Digz Consignment Boutique.
I can't see. I don't have my glasses on.
Oh.
So,
Everyone who's joining, share this with your girls. Share this with your girls. This is going to be really good, especially for those who are aspiring. Hi, is that Michaela? Hi, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Share this with your girls. Share this with y'all business girls. Come on in for this mid-afternoon business chat. This is a weekly chat that we have on Thursdays, talking everything business. And today, as I said earlier, well, let me introduce myself because you guys just came on. I'm Tony Michelle. I'm the founder and owner of October Moon Branding. We are a premier Washington, D.C. based creative digital branding agency. And we work with businesses in fashion, beauty, and lifestyle and luxury retail. And so today we're talking going from 9 to 5 to full-time entrepreneurship. And so today's guest, as I stated, is the owners of New Digz Consignment, Kelli and Sadiqa. Welcome. Welcome. So those of you in the comments, those of you who are viewing, tell us where you guys are viewing from. Where are you guys from and what business are you in? Comment down in the, leave that in the comments. Hi, Rudy Band. Tell us what area you guys are tuning in from and what's your business. Leave it down there in the comments. And at the end, we're going to answer a few questions that you guys may have. Okay, so without further ado, let me introduce Kelli and Sadiqa. So girls, to start off, let's start with you, Kelli. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Just give a brief introduction.
Well, my name is Kelli Queen. What do I say about myself in a little introduction? I've worked in corporate America for over 25 years. I'm a mom. I'm a wife, a mom of 6, and and have been doing this consignment business for 8 years now.
Okay, welcome.
Went to HBCU, Virginia Union University, and yeah, that's me.
All right.
She's
Right,
from
Sadiqa, you
Southeast DC. I'm from Southeast DC. That's important because anybody can make it.
Right.
I say that a lot. So our viewers, some of our viewers who know me, I say that a lot. I am born and raised Washington DC, Southeast DC,
right,
Anacostia.
In the house.
Look at those hearts.
South Side girl too.
I saw
Sadiqa, you up. All right. Sadiqa, tell us a little about yourself.
I am Sadiqa Brown, the other half of New Digz Consignment. I actually am from Portland, Oregon. I went to Howard University, and then I went to corporate America where I met Kelli, and I am a mother of 3, a wife, and I'm sure I got other hats.
She's a sister.
I'm a sister, a daughter, all those things.
All those things, all of the above. Well, thank you so much. So, ladies, I have a few questions that I'm going to ask, and then at the end, if there's enough time, we're going to take some questions. Okay. All right. So again, this topic today is about going from 9 to 5 to full-time entrepreneurship. So my first question is, how long were you with your past employer before making the transition?
I was there up until March of this year.
Mm-hmm.
So for the full 8 years, I was working full time, and I retired in March of this year.
And how long were you at your corporate job?
25 years.
25 years. Okay. What about you, Sadiqa?
Uh, I I started full time.
So what were you doing before you came over full time?
Corporate America, that's where we met.
Yeah.
So
So
how
when
long
we
were you in
started the
corporate America?
business,
How long were you?
13 years. 13.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So taking that leap into full-time entrepreneurship, I'm sure is not an easy decision to make, especially when you have kids, as you guys both have. So I'm sure that had been, took some time to decide that you wanted to do that. So tell me about that experience, and like what research did you do, and what decisions did you take into play before making that decision to transition? Come on, girl.
Research. I did no research. So I'm pretty much transparent when I do these. I did no research. I went on what God told me to do in March. And Sadiqa's the same. Well, you had a little bit different because I mean you had to leave. She has a little bit of tweak to the story, but for me, no research. We were already doing the business and we were doing well in the business. But I would have planned on working all through just because I have young kids. My kids are young and I would have liked to stay in corporate America, but that's not what God had me. So my research was God and him telling me what to do, to be honest with you.
So, I mean, but you did with God. I mean, but what was that like? Was it something that just came to you one day? Did you you talked this over with your husband and things like, how was the decision made that, okay,
It was, yeah, I speak to God every day, in prayer and everything. And he told me to quit my job. I mean, it really is that. Also, yes, I did talk to my husband, and my husband said, well, if God said it, it wasn't anything back and forth. And in actuality, I was hesitant, and my husband was like, well, didn't you say, well, you have to do it.
right?
And the thing is, I had to do it. I didn't want to. At the time, my husband was not working. So I didn't have any insurance. I didn't have anything, but still I knew this is what God would have me to do. So that's,
so your faith is what really, you just walked in faith. And so our live last week was talking about, when you start business, operating in your purpose. So you touching on that is awesome. So Sadiqa, what was your story? What was your preparation for going over full time?
So my position was eliminated, and probably 2 weeks before it was actually supposed to end, they offered me another job, and I was so scared my husband was going to make me take it because I didn't want it. I had gotten the call to leave corporate America 8 years prior, but my husband hadn't gotten the same call. He didn't get the message.
He didn't get the word yet.
He didn't get the message. So when the time came and they gave me the opportunity for the job, I went and asked my husband what, his thoughts were, if it was okay. And he said, well, what did God say? And I said, let me go downstairs because I have a prayer room, which I haven't been in about. But I went down there and I went down there and I said, God, if you touch this man's heart and he lets me quit, I promise I will never look back and I will go boldly. And when you say stuff like that, you don't know what that means.
Right.
you know what boldly means.
And I said, dang it. But I did it and I haven't looked back since.
Congratulations.
She just did like this. She did
a couple times.
We did like this, but she didn't look back. She didn't do a lot on me.
Right. And so when you are walking in your faith and operating in your faith, do you still have doubts about what you're doing, or you just completely just flow with it?
For me, I always, Sam, it's always doubts, I think. And for me, even fear sets in sometimes. But the faith outrises that outweighs the fear.
Yeah.
And I think you go through stages too. I think, you know, when I first quit, because at that time, I made double what my husband was making. So that is not when you quit, you know, quit during those, you know, time. And our income, even then with us both working, was still just enough, you know, so to lose that big of a salary wasn't the smartest thing. So when I first quit, I was like, okay, God, you know, just help me not to go back. And then I went through a stage where, all right, I ain't going back, so you figure it out, you know. And then it was like, okay, I didn't think about not going back. It was like, okay, teach me how to prosper, you know, like, so I think you go through stages. But for a while I was like, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. And
and I was going to say, and I think for me, the partnership helps, and the partnership helps and we're both faith, you know, we believe and we're believers. And for me, when, you know, God told me, she was like, isn't that great? God told me.
I've been waiting because
again, like she said, it's similar. I mean, my husband wasn't working at all. You know, everyone, they didn't give us unemployment. I don't know why. It was a whole nother story. That's another segment. But he wasn't working, and then you mean I quit and I don't get insurance? I got kids; they got to go to school, and I was homeschooling at the time. I just said this doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, but you know, God's stuff don't make sense.
And you know, the funny thing is, my husband's income tripled after. So sometimes there's something behind us, things working that's waiting for you to be obedient to make the step.
When you walk into it, when you walk into what he tells you to do and just trust him, things happen miraculously that you wouldn't even expect to happen. And so, Kelli, you talked about partnership, and so you girls are definitely a partnership that I admire. You don't find too many partnerships that last in any industry. And so what is it about you girls? Like, what is it that has kept you two together and going the way that you have been going?
Preaching and teaching.
Thank you. What keeps us? She loves me. She can't.
We completely different. We're day and night different. We don't care about the same stuff.
You can't tell by this interview. We are different. That means, I mean, you know, but sometimes people say, you know, if you're too different, that doesn't work either. I mean, we've had what would we call Neil? Gurus in particular to this industry to say, don't do that. Do not partner with each other. You guys are friends. It's not going to work. Not that it might work. They didn't give us, it was not.
Wow.
If you ask the guru who told us, we're not going to shout him out, but
him or her.
Him. Him or her. They said, don't do it. But we did it because, again, it was our faith. I mean, and like Sadiqa said, it is. We are yin and yang. We are different. We don't care about the same thing. So I let her do what she does best, and she lets me do what I do best. And we learn from each other, too, with that. You know.
Definitely day and night.
I mean, but that's just like in a relationship, and you know, in a love relationship, you know, opposite, as they say, opposite attract. And so let me ask you, how do you girls deal with conflict that may arise between you two, or is there any conflict that you guys deal with?
Always conflict. Are you kidding?
You want to know how? You want me to answer how I deal with it?
Okay, let's see.
How I deal with conflict, I ignore. I'm good at that. I know when she's mad. She knows when I'm mad. I mean, I don't really get mad. I'm kind of get probably irritated. I don't get mad, but she can get mad. People think she's the nice one. But
I am the nice one.
But I just ignore her. I know she'll come around in a couple of hours because I need to get done. She's gonna need it. That's how parents do. Oh, they want to eat. She's gonna come around.
But say your car.
All right, so let me ask you. So the third question I have, we pretty
without
much
night.
touched
That's
on.
true. You can't have day without night.
That's true. That's true. That's a good point. We're gonna take that. We're gonna take that.
So my next question is, what should you have in place before making the jump into full-time entrepreneurship? Like, what things do you think you should have in place?
We don't follow any rules.
Yeah, unorthodox. We're completely unorthodox.
We are. All the good questions.
So let me say, we did start with the business plan. We did do the research. We did all of that stuff, and none of it.
We didn't. We didn't use it.
Hey, they said Sadiqa the nice one, Kelli the cool one. I ain't cool.
No,
so you're saying you girls did not have any other than a business plan that you eventually didn't really follow before you made the jump become full time?
The business plan we didn't follow, but we didn't stay away from, if that makes any sense. So, a lot of times during business, they will, customers, people just come in, gurus, whoever it is, and they'll say, oh, you should try men's clothes, or you should try, and you have to kind of stick to what the original plan was.
Right.
Now, sometimes, of course, things change and you have to alter what the original plans were, but the business plan helps you stick to that. I think you're probably also talking about money, like how much money did we have saved, right? That's what people need.
Anything that you had in place before you did this full time.
We did over 100 between the two of us. Yes, we did.
I thought it was 80.
Okay, well,
but whatever it was, we didn't get no loans.
Yeah, we didn't.
We didn't do anything they told us to do.
Wow.
We didn't do anything the books told us to do. All the stuff we learned in school. And like Sadiqa said, we did. She did a great job on that business plan. It looks so nice.
So pretty.
It's so pretty. But we started out, children's and women. As you see, we're just women. I mean, it just changed. We have changed. In 8 years, we've changed a couple of times. Three.
But having gone through what you've gone down and been in business for 8 years, is there anything that you would say to people who to have in place for those who want to make that transition to full-time entrepreneur? Is there anything you want to say to them that they should do that you learned over the years?
I would say that sounds so cliche, believe in yourself, try, but it's true. You got to believe in that dream of yours, that desire, your creativity, whatever it is, you should tap into that. God gave you all those gifts. You should use them and you should step out when he says so. I would also add that sometimes he might not say step out, because for me, I worked 8 years. I didn't hear to step out, and when I heard the step, and I didn't get, my job wasn't eliminated, anything. But when he said step out, what's the present word? I stepped out, and but that's what I would say to anyone out there who, wants to do full-time entrepreneur. And especially if you do have a spouse, both of us, we did. You have to ask your spouse, and make sure that everybody is in agreement. And that's how we work, Sadiqa and I, even in this business, is everybody in agreement what we're about to do, except for all the other stuff I say on my mouth, but everything else that means something.
And I think passion, you have to have passion, because this is not for the faint at heart. Like there are so many times, if you're not passionate, if this is not something that God would have you to do, you will give up. You will say, man, I'm out of here. This is not easy. I mean,
people say it looks easy, and then we get people all the time, oh, we want to start a business, not just consignment. Oh, we want to do this. And I'm like, yeah,
they don't know. You just see the you don't see the behind the scenes.
Right.
You don't see all the work that goes into it. You see us laughing and having fun on the lives and, you know, in the stores, you know, we have fun, but there's a lot of behind. There were days, especially in the beginning, we go days and nobody would even come in the store. And to go from, to go from 6 figures to you sitting in the store and someone wants somebody to bring you something to eat. Yeah. Or you know the times where they say, does anybody come in?
Oh yeah, you get those type of people, you know, that come in and they're rude.
How's the store
They're
doing?
nice, nasty. You know those people, nice, nasty. Oh, do you? I mean, how are you doing? Are you eating? I mean, basically, you know, so you have to have passion. You have to have belief in yourself. You have to be strong for what people might say, how they might not believe in your vision,
And
because
positive.
you think that your friends and family and everything, you think they gonna not support you. It's not on the level that you think. You know,
and even when
some aren't supporting at all.
And even those that they'll support you, and then after a while they still don't see anything, and they go, "You sure? Well, what's your backup plan?" And you're thinking, "Well, I didn't have a backup plan." You know what I mean? Like in my mind, this was it. You know, so you just gotta anyway.
Yeah. So I tell people, and that I touched on that last week. I tell people you cannot build a business around family and friends. That's like the absolute worst thing to think about when you want to start business. You can't do it around business, family and friends. And so just a little background, you girls, when you started out, you had one store and then you opened up a second location. Tell us about that experience and what was the decision to do that, and how was that experience with opening up a second location?
That's funny because so when we first started writing our plan down, Kelli just wanted one store. And I said, I didn't sign up for one store. We need to franchise. Like, I wanted more. And she was like, yeah, I don't think she listened to, I really don't. And she couldn't, she was just like, whatever to get us started. She just was saying whatever. So when the second opportunity to have, which that's why you gotta be in alignment with what God would have you to do, because the second one was just put in our lap. I mean,
was given to us.
It was literally
they gave us
giving it to us. Like they gave it to us. And then 2 months later, COVID happened. And we were forced to shut down.
For 3 months.
And so that meant 2 leases, 2 of everything. And we were like,
that wasn't the plan.
What
and you can't write that in your business plan. I mean, you can't write pandemic, COVID in your business plan.
Right.
I mean,
we didn't see that coming.
No.
I mean, it was terrible. I think I took it harder than her because I'm the one who's saying, go, multiple locations. And she's like, no, we done with the one.
I said, God fix it.
And I'm thinking, it's okay. I had already prepared to eat oodles and noodles and to do whatever I had to do. You know, I was already prepared. We was good. But I was like, I don't want that to be her. Right. You know what I mean? So that was really hard.
I can't hear you guys. Can you hear me? I can hear you a little bit.
Sorry, she's getting a call real fast. Yeah, so I couldn't.
You talked on the pandemic, and a lot of businesses, unfortunately, didn't survive the pandemic, and had to close. So, touch on that before Kelli comes back. What is it? How did you guys pivot? That's my question. How did you guys pivot, and what things did you do to continue your business to keep it on track throughout the pandemic?
It's 431-9397.
579357. Sorry. So what we did, so when it first happened, so it was March 16th. I will 9357. When we first started, it was in March 16th is the day we were officially told we had to close. So all of March we didn't do anything. April was the worst April it ever was.
Mm.
And then I think around the end of April, I was praying and I was like, God, why would you do this? You know, like I just like why. And he said, do you trust me? I'm not lying to you. He said, do you trust me? And I said, yes, I do. I got up, I put my big girl drawers on, and I said, what can I do? You know, what could I do? We got a store full of clothes.
Right.
What could we do to sell them? And I went to the stores and I started grabbing inventory and taking it home. I had a whole studio at home. I had racks, pens, clothes, and literally all day I just took pictures. The girls, my daughters were helping, you know, taking pictures. We would add them to the system. And we went from like maybe 100 items to over 800 items on the website. We were and then Kelly started doing TikToks and reels and stuff. And then after that, a little later, we started doing live sales. Yes. And that literally, that transformed our business. We doubled in sales. We doubled in sales.
So you girls started doing the Facebook Live, right?
And also to our web presence, because we always had inventory on the website. It was never, it was a priority, but then when we opened the second location, the website activity got downgraded. But when we couldn't open, then it got reprioritized. Right. So that's what we started to do. And then later on, a couple months later, we started doing the live sales.
And so you said the lives have been doing the Facebook Lives sales have greatly increased your sales. So you guys is this something that you have decided to incorporate into your business model now? Is this like a permanent thing that you're going to be doing?
Yep. Until y'all come in.
Till y'all come.
No, we don't.
I mean, our customers like it. I think industry. Convenient. I mean, COVID has caused people to be. I don't want to call you guys lazy, but
we appreciate convenience.
Convenience. I mean, seriously, because people like to be at home. Like to shop. I mean, that's the way. I mean, I do. So I'm like, you know, Amazon or whatever your pastime is when it comes to shopping. You're laying up in the bed. This is how people shop. There is still a customer base for people who like to come in.
Right.
The customers love it.
Oh yeah. But there are customers that like to still come in and touch and feel. So we would never just in the brick and mortar because people like to try on and things like that. So you have to, but definitely like Sadiqa said, we're going to keep that in the business model. But that wasn't, did you say that wasn't something we created or came up with? COVID came and then that made us say, oh, we got to do this. This is how we pivot, right?
Right.
And actually, it took us from the time we got the idea to actually executing probably 6 months. It was a long time. Neither one of us wanted to get in front of the camera. Neither one of us. We just were like really kicking and screaming. And I remember I was having a conversation with a girlfriend of mine. And you know, you give somebody advice and you realize the advice was for yourself. And I said, all right, God, I hear you. Yep, I hear you, God. And that's kind of what kicked. But that was like 6 months. That was a while between the execution. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, so I was just going to say, so it wasn't like it just happened instantaneously. It took you girls some time to come to that decision to incorporate doing Facebook Live sales in order to keep your business afloat.
Wait, you asked? Yeah, what did you say? I'm sorry.
No, I was saying so that it didn't happen instantaneously where you started doing the lives. It took you some time to come around to actually doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have another question, and this one kind of touched me too. So, have you faced like any mental anguish with being a full-time entrepreneur? And if so, what do you do to get through it?
She doesn't give mental anguish. She
I said mental anguish.
She doesn't even know what that is. She doesn't know. I'm telling you, she
So
doesn't
let me
get it.
get some backstory on that. In January 2018, my position was cut from a job that I worked for almost 12 years. And I was happy, child. I was like, because my desire, my dream was always to open up a brick and mortar boutique. And so, you know, they offered a 1-year severance, 4-year health insurance. I was like, yes, finally, like this is about to be. So when everybody at my job, they was, you know, on a computer looking for more jobs, I was like, I did it for like maybe like a couple of days. I was like, no, I'm gonna follow my dreams. This is my opportunity. This is my time to do this. And so once the job had ended and I decided to do that, I went through so much, like I started to become depressed. Like it was like, it's something that I've always dreamed. It was placed in my heart since I was a child, but I started to become depressed. Like, and I'm like asking God, like, if this is supposed to be for me, like, why am I feeling like this? You know, I was getting stressed. I'm like, okay, the customers aren't, you know, coming to the, buying from the website. You know, I was doing pop-ups and, you know, sometimes we'll break even. Sometimes I wasn't. And I'm like, I felt like I was doing everything. And I just went through such a depression stage, and to where I just had to take a step back. I just felt like it was just too much. And I know that depression is very prevalent amongst entrepreneurs. And so that's what I mean. Like, did you girls face any of that when you decided to come full time? And if so, how did you work through it?
For when it comes to depression, I can speak to depression, but as for business wise, I've gotten anxiety over certain situations that we experience. But I think again, the partnership comes into play and helps, because when I have anxiety, Sadiqa doesn't. If Sadiqa has anxiety, I mean, you know, again,
Miss Perfect over there.
it's ridiculous. So, but you know, even when she gets tired, or you know, but I don't even call that. You can name it what you want to name it, because she don't have feelings. But we have each other, so that helps. That really, really does help. Because she's like, "Come on, Kelly, what we gonna do today?" And I'm like, "Nothing. We gonna do nothing because nothing's working." You know, I get like that all the time, and but she helps me, she pulls me out of that, and I hope that I pull her out when, you know, and even if she doesn't even say it, I think I know when she's like that, and then I just start posting or making a reel or something.
I need to grow, so I need to see some kind of movement or growth. And if I don't see that, that's when you'll start seeing me. And it could be anything little, like if I got to work on trademarks or, you know, something to some new product, some new, like that's enough for me because I need to see progress. If I don't see progress, then that's when I do get like that when I don't see progress.
And that's true for her. So when I'll say when we had got this space and I got the shoe rack, that took her to about good 6 months. That was 6 months. Like, oh, that is nice. Then she stopped falling, you know. Then you got to build it back up with something else new. You know, you got to show progress for her.
Yeah,
right.
Progress is
Right.
So,
but I think
because it's not just financially. I
No.
mean, you do want
Money,
you
yeah.
do want money, but if she just sees that we're moving along and we're growing,
yeah. I mean, even she laughs at me because I like technological advances. So I'll be coming up with all these new, we got this. And she was like, I'm like, okay, I'm getting ready to tell you, just act like you care. Like, just act like you care. Because she'll be like, oh, great. And I'm like, okay, wow, that's not what I want. So it just anything. I mean, like it could be do we add a new policy? And I'm like, girl, we doing this. And then she's like, yeah, okay.
But it doesn't take you much, huh? It doesn't take you much to make you happy. So what would you say to those who are looking to become full-time entrepreneurs? Like, what are some things you will that you can recommend or suggest to them as a way to cope or to get through any anxiety that they may be facing with doing this full time?
Find a friend, an entrepreneur friend, not just a friend, an entrepreneur going on a journey. Their journey might be different than yours, completely different than yours. But you need somebody who can kind of understand because it's like
it's pivotal. Yeah, because that is cyclical. Cyclical. Yeah, definitely. Get somebody behind you. I mean, some type of supporter. And again, like she said, somebody, even if they have a different business, they have the same mindset.
And that they understand the journey, like you want some, and get mentors. I mean, a lot of times people don't want to pay. I get it, because you like, I barely got money. Hey, Fancy, I barely got money, so you don't want to use it. But if you spend the money on yourself, you'd be surprised at a lot of, even if it's just reinsurance, people telling you could do it, hang in there. Like, you just be surprised.
You do have to put yourself out there. For you, you have mentioned, going to pop-ups or events and stuff. You have to put yourself out there. But I will say, God will also send some people. Yeah, I mean, you could just be sitting.
It's so funny she said that, because when we started, we didn't have. So, like, we're like, how do you like? We're not in the clique. We are not in the clique. I probably got her kicked out the clique.
Yeah, I was in the clique. I was like, beat it, girl.
I got her kicked out the clique. So we didn't have, because the way this environment is, this community.
And I think it's DC. I mean, I hear Atlanta might be like it too. I don't know, because I don't live there, but there is clickage. Yeah. So if nobody goes there, then nobody's going there. So you gotta build your own customer base, and then for them to come along when you blow up,
and they come back.
And they come back. They come back. I mean, it's plenty of times we reached out to people, no answer, and
no.
We want some like no,
she would get mad at me, because I would say, why would people, they could have, because from Oregon, it's 3% Black. So the way it works,
understand it.
If I could do something to help you, I'ma help, because it's just us. When I got here, you got people who could put you on, they got a big platform. They could now, I'm not saying just put us on just because it's us. We got a solid business model. We're professional, excellent customer service. Like, it's something that you would not be embarrassed to say that you stood behind. So I'm not saying do it with everybody, but when you find that, and they could help, and they just wouldn't. They just wouldn't. Not because they couldn't. It's because they wouldn't. They downright refuse. And that was really hard for me. I never understood it. And Kelly was like, that's just what people do, girl. Get over it.
Yeah. I ask, and then they say no. Or, she does. She gets it. And I think it's because she doesn't understand why we don't help. All the other races, everybody else helps, but us.
And I'm that type of person. Like, if somebody asks me,
she gonna give you all the information. She gonna give you all the place. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. No. Don't tell me nothing. I gotta ring her in.
You said that because I just had that conversation last week with a school friend of mine of how of this scarcity mindset that we have as a people, and feeling like we can't share our knowledge to help us all grow. Like, there's money out there. There are billions and trillions of people out here in the world, so there's money for everyone. And so I just feel like people, when they guard things or information to themselves, they pretty much doing themselves a disservice and limiting their blessings on how far that they can go in what it is that they're doing, right?
There are 6 million people in Maryland. I always don't. This is what I don't understand. I'm like, you mean to tell me we can't sell 12 dresses? You got 12 dresses? We can't say 12 dresses?
People talk about us all the time. Why you have pop-ups? Like, we get that question all the time. We
let other vendors
Oh, I
that
see, because they're saying that's competition
not
for you.
earrings or anything, but clothes. When they come and sell clothes, they're like, why would you bring those people in?
And we like, why not? We have a platform that we can help others. Why wouldn't we help if we could?
That is
And
awesome.
it's just unfortunate because we are so much stronger together than we are apart. And I don't think people really, if I win, look at who's watching. Hey, is that Dom? But we're so much stronger together than we are individually. And I don't think people understand that. If I win, you win, because I'm pulling you up. I'm saying, girl, we got this. Come on, let's go. But people don't understand that. And so it's unfortunate to say we've learned how to maneuver around it. And we maneuver and we work with people who want to work with us. And we
with the same, and then we need the same energy. You know, you can tell, you can tell the people that want to take advantage of you. You might, and they might think they're taking advantage of you, but they're not. You know, and you might even allow them if that, you know. But at the end of the day, if you're doing right by your business, by God, it's going to work out. You might not get, now this is what I've learned too. I support a lot of people. I mean, a lot of businesses, people in general, whoever. And when I don't get it back from that particular person, I get bothered by that. I get bothered. Let's move it on. That's she like, I'm about to say tonight. She said, you're gonna get blessed by somebody else. It might not be the same person, you know. So my seeds that are sown in other people that don't understand or you know don't realize what we're doing or what I do or how I, you know, support them, we get it from somebody else. You know. So and I have found that to be true. So I am doing
and I believe that. So you talked about that, you know, you do have pop-ups at your locations and how others. So you know what? Let me take that back from that. How do you deal? How being full-time entrepreneurs, and you guys mentioned that there were gurus and all of these other people giving you advice on not to partner or not to open up another store. Like, how did you make the decision? Okay, we're going to walk in our purpose and listen to what God has for us versus what all of these people have been telling us to do.
I don't know. That was never. Hey, Kiyomi, that was never. I don't. That part. She said, how do you deal with not listening to what other people tell you to do and going after what God?
I never listened. I didn't say that earlier. Don't listen to what she said.
I mean, because you know, I mean, and you know, in the business, you know, you getting pulled from all different directions, especially on social media. You got this guru saying this, and this person saying that, and this mentor saying this, and it's like it can be so overwhelming and difficult to figure out. Okay, which one do I listen to, or should I listen to any of them?
There was remember when it was Snapchat, right? Came out and we were just starting to learn Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And then Snapchat was the next biggest thing. And everybody's like, you need to be on Snapchat. And that's when we said,
no. And I think to your question.
Well, hold on.
How do we,
that's when we were like, no, that's not what we can't keep learning all these different platforms. We're gonna stick to the two we know, and we're gonna work with those. And we did. And you even tried TikTok, but
which I'm going back to in January. Actually, I did not have my business meeting yet. Information, and we're going to TikTok.
This is how I always find out the information. I find on camera.
No, you do have to listen to, and that's where the business plan comes back into play. Listen to what your original plan, and if it fits in that and you can do it, I say do it, you know. But you can't listen to every single person out there
that don't have a business,
especially if they don't have a business. You know, there's a lot of people giving out information. Oh, y'all should open on Sundays. We get it all the time from everybody, random people, people we know. But our business model is we do not work on Sundays. So that is this. We're not working on Sunday. So we know that.
God, you have to do what you do Monday through Saturday.
All the time from gurus. But I mean, people bringing us numbers. You know how much money you will make on a Sunday? Well, we not working on Sunday, you know. So you do have to listen to what your original plan is, and if it fits in that.
Or even when we first started, God told us we weren't going to get any loans. And when COVID happened, everybody was getting a PPP, right? Right. And I said, I don't think we're supposed to do it. And Kelly said, I'm going to try it anyway.
And we did it.
Really?
Y'all believe that? Anybody listening that maybe now y'all can hook somebody up? No,
so that's a good point that you to touch on. So you guys have been doing this. You started this and have been doing this without any funding from any business loans. Oh, that is awesome.
No loans, no money. I danced a little on the side.
Right.
I did.
Yes. So
I'm sorry,
you guys. And then I'm going to take some questions from those who are viewing. Do you guys currently have any mentors?
Yeah, we got lots of mentors. We got lots of mentors, and they're not in this area
that you work with, you know, specifically.
No, but that we call on.
Yeah, we call on if that's in the industry.
But nobody that we meet. I know when people say mentors, they like, do you meet with them? And no, we just when we need them, we call them. Because most of our mentors, they busy. Like we call them when we need them. You know, if we got a real serious question or if they're stuck. Yeah, when we're stuck, that's when we reach out to them, and they're not even in this area. So.
And the good thing about a mentor is if you're doing what you're supposed to do, I say, this is what the situation is. They say, do X, Y, Z, or look over here. And that's it. You don't need you don't need no it should be quick as you should already have your ducks in a row and say, this is what I'm faced with. Here are my options. What you think? You know what I mean? Like you shouldn't be going there and going, oh, my sales are low. You know, like that ain't nobody gonna help you like that. You need to come up with some ideas and some, you know, this is what we're working with, and they kind of help you make a turn, but they're not putting
they're not writing you a business plan, you know.
So just my last question: what do you think about? Because I know one of you girls touched on it, the importance of investing in yourself. Gaining more, because I'm sure you girls are constantly learning. Like Sadiqa says, she's a tech girl, so she's constantly learning about new technology and things like that to help the business along. So what do you think about investing in yourself, in the proper education and the proper tools that you need to continue going in your business?
I would definitely believe you gotta you increase your knowledge in anything. I mean, anything you do, you definitely need that. You just have to find the right things to invest in. Because again, you are an entrepreneur. You want to invest in the right, because some people make this stuff look flashy on social media. You might want to go here and then you walk out of there.
And you got to pay attention to the person you're investing in, because a lot of times, you know, the gurus, depending on what stage of the game you're in, a guru for one stage is not the guru you will use for the next stage. And sometimes people are just, you know, you see, for example, you might see somebody say, I'll help you get 6 figures. Well, if you are at 4 figures, then I might be the guru for you, right? But if you're at that or close to it or beyond it, you wouldn't use that guru. You got to find another one. So pay attention, because a lot of people, you know, they get excited about the bells and whistles because we make everything look good, right? Everything looks
social
good.
media messes you up.
Yeah, you just got to pay attention and look at the person as well as what your goals are and see that they're in alignment. Do they have a business that they're running? You see what I mean? Like, or if they had a business, where did their business go? Because then that kind of gives you parameters and kind of helps you make decisions so you can compare apples to apples. You don't want to
just because it sounds good and they lay out the 5 steps to success, doesn't mean that they got it.
That they come from someone else.
Yeah, that you even want to go with them.
But yeah, absolutely.
So my last question is, and I know we mentioned this before, but for those who are just joining us, this chat is about going from 9 to 5 to full-time entrepreneurship. And so closing out for those who are just joining us.
Now
what is your best and finest advice on for those who want to make that leap from going from full-time entrepreneur to from 9 to 5 to full-time entrepreneurship? What's your final advice for them?
Make sure this is what God has you to do. I don't think you jump out anywhere without God. You're not going to make it. You're not going to make it in this time. No, I don't want to say it. Have y'all figured out the personality? She's going to restate what I said in a better way in a second.
Hey, what's your take, Sadiqa?
Be passionate about whatever it is that you want and understand that it is hard. It is hard and that you're going to have to push through. Hold on one second. Sorry.
And push through, and you're going to need, you're going to have some type of faith.
Yeah.
I think so. I have to meet somebody.
Okay. All right.
Oh no. But yeah, definitely you have some type of faith. Believing with that passion and that dream that you have. You have to believe in yourself because nobody else really will believe in you unless you believe in yourself. When you step out of corporate America, I would say that you should have some type of savings. I know we didn't get on that, but don't jump out there with no savings. Because you're going to need it, because you're going to use it for your business.
And be prepared to use all of it.
And as we touched earlier, about your friends, you cannot think that your friends and family are going to help you. And if they do, that is awesome. But you don't set all your ducks in a row to think that that's going to happen, because then when you use all of your resources and then saying, well, why are they not buying my lip gloss or my perfume or my whatever it is.
And what I would say is, I'm teasing Kelly, but the truth is we're Jesus girls. So we always going to say, and we understand it's not everybody. So
that's what I said I said have faith in something.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, faith in whatever it is your higher power is, and trust yourselves, trust your instincts, because I think we have a roadmap. God placed He places it. We have all the tools we need to get what we need. Like when we went for COVID, and one of the things God told me was, you have everything we already had. When we doubled in income, it was nothing new. We didn't get loans. We didn't get this new system. Everything we had, we already had. We already had the clothes sitting here. So you already have the tools and the resources to get what you need. It's just about pulling them out. And part of what you need is that faith in yourself and trust your instinct. Because I can tell you, half of the stuff we've done, over half of the stuff we've done, it didn't make any sense. It made absolutely no sense. But it's like you get this thing in your gut, like, I need to do this. I got to see it through. And then you're like, wow.
And I know I walked away, but when I kind of heard you when you were talking about the TikToks, what got us through that initial stage, like for me, it was just being funny. I think I'm funny, but I'm sure nobody else thinks I'm funny. But, I did it. I did it. And that actually pushed me. Now I do reels. I would not be doing reels, but reel helps me. And I know it helps because people come in and say, I came in because you're crazy or you're funny. I wanted to see what that. And I'm thinking, really? You just want to see why? I mean, I think it's weird. I mean, but it's true. People want to connect with you. And I think that's what our customers love. I would say that too. Be authentic. Do not. That's what I gotta touch. Oh, we be here for days, and I'm gonna hang up. I'm gonna hang up and think, dang, I should have said this. But that is one thing. Authentic. Stop trying to be like everybody else. You cannot be like everybody else. You can admire and you can try to, what's the word? Not because I don't want to even say imitate, because you can't. You gotta add your personality to whatever you're doing in business.
And that's what I tell people now these days. People don't buy from you. They don't buy your products. They don't buy your services. They are buying you. So you have to be able to show up for yourself fully in your full capacity, because people want to, they're interested in you. They know, so we want to know who is this person, what they doing, what they got going on.
Yeah, so they don't wonder why we not glammed up every time we in here. They see us busted and we sell clothes. That doesn't make sense. And I know you as a professional, you in the fashion girl. You in the fashion. So I put on earrings for you. That's I'm only doing this if we have an event or something, but we don't doll ourselves up. We don't put makeup on every day. And that's just because that's us authentically. I mean, so if y'all saw us made up every day, that we would be trying to be like somebody else. And we can't you can't keep up. We can't keep up. You can't keep up when you're trying to do somebody else or imitate something. You can't keep it up. You can do it for a little bit, but you cannot keep it up. Don't do it. That's my advice. Don't be your authentic self. That's the one I'm leaving with. And passion. That's it.
Well, girls, thank you so much for joining me on this live Biz Chats. And you girls are a pleasure. We got to do this again, honey. Yeah, we got to do this again. So quickly,
before we leave.
So are there any questions? Leave some questions. Leave some hearts. Show us that that this has helped you guys. For those of you who are considering to make that leap of faith into full-time entrepreneurship, leave us a comment. Send some hearts. Let us know that this resonated with you. And also be sure to go and follow New Digz Consignment over here on IG. And be sure to follow us here at October Moon Branding for our weekly lives here on Thursdays. They're usually at 12. But I really wanted to have these two beautiful powerhouses on, so we did it an hour early. And I hope that this live has really resonated with you guys, that you got some bits of gem and some nuggets that you guys can use, going forward. And to close this out, what we want to say is to make that transition one, make sure that it is something that God sent you, that this was from God. It's not that you starting a business because you've seen a girl over here, girl over there, start a business and you figure, oh, that look easy, I'm going to start it. No, make sure that it is purpose, that you have purpose in it, that you have passion, and that you go for it once you have all of those things in place, because there is no perfect time. Don't listen to everybody telling you what you should and how you should. When you receive that message from God, and yet it was placed upon you, not the girl or the guy next door to you, but for you. And so thank you guys for joining us again. Be sure to follow New Digz. Go check them out, honey. They have some amazing items. You can check them out on their website or in their stores. I'll leave tell them what the locations are real quick, guys.
Upper Marlboro and Crofton, Maryland.
I've been NewDigzConsignment.com, New Digz Instagram, Facebook New Digz, TikTok New Digz coming 2023. But yeah, Upper Marlboro, we next door. We saw Heath or Dominique. What I don't know.
My girl said she liked the earrings.
You ladies are who? Thanks. Cody did these. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, was that? 5724 Crane Highway, Upper Marlboro, Maryland, and then 2227 Defense Highway in Crofton, Maryland. 2 locations and 24 hours online.
Right. All right, girls. Thank you again. You girls have an amazing day, and hopefully we can do this again soon. Continue many blessings and following in your God-given gifts and spreading your joy and your resources to those who.
And I want to say one more thing, ladies. If you're new, make sure you watch us. We're on 3 times a week on Facebook. So you have to follow us on Facebook too. So follow us definitely on Instagram and Facebook, because it's 2 different contents at this right now.
So y'all follow their lives. They a mess, honey. All kind of bloopers and everything. They have fun.
And we keep the bloopers there. I know.
But thank you so much, girls. Enjoy
Bye.
your day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.